Hello students, welcome. My name is Emma. I am from UK. So, my accent is British. In this video, we will learn about A. Verb and indirect object, for example, give her a book. Give a book to her. B. Past tense forms of irregular verbs, for example, eat, ate, give, and gave. Notice the position of to Mary and Mary in sentence A and B. He is going to give a book to Mary. Compare with he is going to give Mary a book. Do you notice the differences? Very good. Two patterns are possible when a direct object, a book, and an indirect object, Mary, follow a verb such as give. A. Verb, plus do, plus to io. This pattern is, to give the object to the person. B. Verb, plus io, plus do. This pattern is, to give the person the object. Some other verbs, which are like give, are, write, read, show, teach, tell, sell, send, lend, bring, take, and pass. These can be used in either pattern A or B. Exercise 1. Form sentences which include to and the indirect object, me. For example, John often gives Mary books. He never gives any books to me. John often writes Mary letters. He never writes any letters to me. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 2. For advanced students. When the direct object is a personal pronoun like it or them, the indirect object usually has to with it, pattern A. In the following exercise, answer the questions changing all the object, noun phrases to pronouns. Use pattern A in your response, which is the pattern with to. For example, is he going to give us the history book? Yes, he is going to give it to us tomorrow. Is he going to give Mr. Miller the new books? Yes, he is going to give them to Mr. Miller tomorrow. Yes, he is going to give them to him tomorrow. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Notice the use of the indirect object after the verb ask. For example, he asked the teacher a question. Please ask him his telephone number. There are only a very few verbs like ask. Among them are cost, save, charge, and wish. For example, the book cost me $10. The man charged me $5. John saved me $15. He wished us a pleasant journey. Exercise 3. Add the name Mr. Miller to the following statements. For example, he asked a question. He asked Mr. Miller a question. He asked his name. He asked Mr. Miller his name. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Notice the use of to with the verb explain. For example, he explained the lesson to me. Other verbs, which are like explain are, announce, describe, introduce, mention, prove, repeat, say, speak, suggest, and report. Illustrative examples. 1. The teacher announced the examination to the students. 2. We described our class to him. 3. He introduced his father to us. 4. He mentioned the money to Mr. Miller. 5. He didn't prove anything to us. 6. We repeated our name to him. 7. He always says hello to me. 8. He is speaking English to me. 9. He didn't suggest anything to us. 10. The students reported their progress to the teacher. Exercise 4. Practice the use of verbs like explain, and also the verb ask. Repeat the statements, and add us, or to us, in the proper position. For example, he often speaks. He often speaks to us. He explained the lesson. He explained the lesson to us. He repeated it. He repeated it to us. He usually says yes. He usually says yes to us. He asked, "Where are you going?" He asked us, "Where are you going?" They asked some questions. They asked us some questions. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 5. Practice the use of verbs like explain, and also the verb ask. Listen to the verbs, and the statements after them. Include the words in the statements. For example, the student. Mary asked some questions. Mary asked the student some questions. The student. John is explaining a problem. John is explaining a problem to the student. Him. I'm going to speak English. I'm going to speak English to him. Mr. Brown. I'm going to repeat the news. I'm going to repeat the news to Mr. Brown. Them. I asked some questions. I asked them some questions. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 6. Summary exercise for advanced students. Practice the use of 3 types of verbs. 1. Verbs like give. 2. ask. 3. Verbs like explain. For example, he's going to ask me a favor. The question. He's going to ask me the question. Explain. He's going to explain the question to me. The letter. He's going to explain the letter to me. Read. He's going to read the letter to me. Me. He's going to read me the letter. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Notice the use of for Mary. Previous patterns, for example. Give a book to Mary. Give Mary a book. Ask Mary a question. Explain the lesson to Mary. New patterns, for example. Buy a book for Mary. Buy Mary a book. Open the door for Mary. Exercise 7. Answer the questions. Include for Mary in your answer. For example, who did John open the door for? He opened it for Mary. Who did John close the windows for? He closed them for Mary. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 8. Change the sentences using for or to. For example, please buy me a book. Please buy a book for me. Please pass John the salt. Please pass the salt to John. Exercise 9. Summary exercise. Include the words in the statements. Use personal pronouns for the subjects and indirect objects. For example, John. The teacher explained the lesson. She explained the lesson to him. The professor. The professor is going to ask some questions. He's going to ask her some questions. Mary. Mary's going to ask some questions. She's going to ask him some questions. The patients. The doctor prescribed medicine. He prescribed medicine for them. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Notice the irregular, past tense forms with vowel difference. Previous pattern, for example, Simple present. We study every day. Past. We studied yesterday. New pattern, for example. Simple present. We eat every day. Past. We ate yesterday. Additional examples. Did John eat an apple, or an orange? He ate an apple. Did John give a book, or a magazine? He gave a book. Did John come last night, or this morning? He came last night. Did John become a doctor, or a lawyer? He became a doctor. Did John meet Mary, or Alice? He met Mary. Did John read a book, or a newspaper? He read a book. Did John sit here, or in the library? He sat here. Did John begin lesson 8, or 9? He began lesson 8. Did John drink tea, or coffee? He drank tea. Exercise 10. Listen to the statements with the adverb yesterday. Make corresponding statements about repeated action, using the adverbial every day. For example, they came yesterday. They come every day. He ate breakfast yesterday. He eats breakfast every day. I met him yesterday. I meet him every day. Exercise 11. Repeat the teacher's statement, and add either every day, or yesterday. For example, they write it. They write it every day. They wrote it. They wrote it yesterday. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 12. Repeat the negative statement with didn't, and add the corresponding affirmative statement, using the adverbial this morning. Do not change the tense. For example, he didn't come yesterday. He didn't come yesterday. He came this morning. He didn't give it to me yesterday. He didn't give it to me yesterday. He gave it to me this morning. I didn't eat the pie yesterday. I didn't eat the pie yesterday. I ate it this morning. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Notice the irregular past tense form, without vowel difference. Simple present. For example, we spend some money every day. Past. For example, we spent some money yesterday. Do you hear the difference between spend and spent? Very good. You are ready to go to UK to meet me. I give additional examples for you. Did John send a letter, or a postcard? He sent a letter. Did John spend $5, or $10? He spent $5. Did John lend a book, or a newspaper? He lent a book. Did John make one sandwich, or two? He made one. Did John have coffee, or tea? He had coffee. No differences, for example. Did John cut paper, or cloth? He cut paper. Did John put the book on the table, or under it? He put it on the table. Did the book cost $3, or $4? It cost $3. Exercise 13. Make statements using the adverbial everyday. For example, Mary sent a letter yesterday. She sends a letter every day. Mary spent $5 yesterday. She spends $5 every day. Exercise 14. Respond with affirmative statements, which include the adverbial on Sunday. For example, they didn't send the letter on Saturday. They sent the letter on Sunday. She didn't spend the money on Saturday. She spent the money on Sunday. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 15. Free response. For example, what did you send? I sent a box. Where did you spend $5? I spent it in Chicago. When did you lend it? I lent it this morning. Exercise 16. Make statements using the adverbial every night. For example, John did his homework last night. He does his homework every night. John felt fine last night. He feels fine every night. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 17. Listen to the negative statements. Form corresponding affirmative statements, using yesterday. For example, they didn't do the exercises today. They did them yesterday. I didn't feel well today. I felt well yesterday. He didn't mean that today. He meant that yesterday. Exercise 18. Repeat the teacher's statement, and add either every day, or yesterday. For example, they do it. They do it every day. They did it. They did it yesterday. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 19. Review exercise. For example, did he give Alice any stamps? Yes, he gave her some, but he didn't give me any. Did he send Alice any postcards? Yes, he sent her some, but he didn't send me any. Exercise 20. Summary exercise. For example, I wanted breakfast yesterday. I ate breakfast yesterday. Every day. I eat breakfast every day. Make. I make breakfast every day. Coffee. I make coffee every day. We make coffee every day. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Well done, students. You have finished chapter or lesson 8. I hope you enjoy it, and keep practicing. See you again, bye.